Hello my good smelling friends. I was thinking of doing the regular top 10 winter fragrances video, but then again I thought about it and it was very difficult for me to pick an actual list of favorite and least favorite fragrances and put them in a top 10. So this plus the fact that I might prefer a fragrance today and tomorrow I might prefer another over this one. So the taste might change from one day to another, also depending on the mood, on the situation. That's why I'm just giving you all the fragrances I'm going to wear this winter. So you guys know me, I'm going to feature fragrances for all type of budgets. That's cheap fragrances, mid-range budget fragrances, also a bit more expensive fragrances. And no more talking, so here we go. The first fragrance I'm gonna wear this winter is Italal Saffron Oud 24 Hours. This one I just reviewed recently. You probably know it already. It has been reviewed a couple of times. There was a hype going on about this fragrance, mostly because it smelled really close to Tom Ford's Black Orchid, but it was like a more manlier version of it, a very much more cheaper version of it with a very good performance and a pretty decent presentation. So guys, before I move on to the next fragrance, I have to give you a bit of a warning, and that is there are going to be some heavy hitters in this list, and I mean there are going to be some heavy oud based fragrances in the list. So if you're not going to be a fan of oud, you might not be approving of these fragrances. But even so, these are very good fragrances for winter. Oud is like a winter signature note. Okay, so the next fragrance I'm gonna show you is a stinker. And by stinker, I mean it doesn't smell bad. Rasasi Danal Wood Nashwa. This fragrance is a combination of oud and honey and dark elements, just like the bottle shows. It's really strong, really heavy. It's not for everyone. So again, very powerful fragrance, only for the people who love oud. Otherwise, just stay away from it. Forget about it. The next one is another heavy fragrance, but it's not with oud. It's a barbershop fragrance actually, and when I am in the mood for a barbershop fragrance to get that old school vibe, I'm going to go for Caron Yatagan. So I also talked about this fragrance, and whoever owns a bottle of this fragrance knows that there's a lot of history in here, not only with the fragrance itself but with the house itself. You're getting a very heavy barbershop animalic type of fragrance with a very good performance. And barbershop fragrances in general, for me at least, did not have a very good performance in general, but this one can easily take on the cold days of winter. The next one, of course, another oud based fragrance coming from another Middle Eastern brand, one which I haven't talked too much about lately. I didn't really reach out to this house because, guys, there are so many Middle Eastern houses and fragrances released by them that it's really hard to cover all of them. This one I'm going to wear this winter just because it is so unique. Mutamayez by Swiss Arabian. So if you are a fan of Middle Eastern fragrances and you started buying lots of them, you already found out that there is a pattern to the smell of these fragrances. At some point you will notice that most of them are smelling very similar. this one, I didn't find yet a fragrance that smells like it. It smells like a burnt sugar with a very powerful, sharp wood note surrounding it. I still maintain my opinion when I reviewed this fragrance, and I said that it smells very close to M7 by YSL. Yes, it is still in the same category. I mean, it is like a clone-like fragrance to YSL M7, but with a more sharp wood. And yes, again, I definitely do not recommend wearing this fragrance any other season than winter. The next fragrance is a masterpiece, and I have been talking about it lately. It is Zeno by Davidoff. This fragrance has been in the community and in the fragrance world for a while. It is well known, and it is probably a bit too mature to be worn by the younger crowd these days, but still it doesn't have that barbershop smell. It is a different type of mature, a more professional mature type of fragrance with an outstanding performance. A very spicy, aromatic, woody type of fragrance, which lasts and projects for a long time. So definitely worth wearing in the winter, especially at work. So by now I'm probably getting close to the middle of the list. So I'll put this fragrance right here just because I recently received this one. I don't know too much about it. So just because I didn't give this fragrance too much wearing, I'm going to wear it more this winter just because the initial impression was very good and I want to find out more about it. Because guys, this is Al Haramain's Amberwood Tobacco Edition. This is again a luxurious presentation from the house of Al Haramain and a smell which has a niche quality. I don't know if it is a clone of a more popular niche fragrance, but it does have a niche quality. So when I'm going to talk about this fragrance, I'm just going to talk about how I perceive this fragrance, not comparing it to a more popular fragrance. So for now, I can tell you this, it smells like a very festive fragrance with ginger and cinnamon. It kind of reminds me of Spice Bomb by Viktor and Rolf, which also has a bit of that festive smell with cinnamon, almost like winter holidays. This has a more oriental and luxurious smells with tobacco, smooth in the dry down with a lot of amber. So keep an eye out for this one. I'm going to review it very soon. Another designer that I will include in this list is Armani Code Profumo. Even though people in the fragrance community don't talk too much about it these days, I still think it is a very good, like one of the best designer fragrances for winter, still one of the best to date, because it preserves that Armani Code DNA, adds up a much higher, much better performance, and adds a bit of a modern touch to it. If you still had doubts if Armani Code Profumo is worth getting in 2020, yes, it is. It is a very good designer fragrance which delivers even in 2019 to 2020. Another great performing fragrance coming from the Middle East, and I'm going to wear it this winter, is Incense Gold by Riiffs. An incense bomb with a bit of a smoky incense, burnt incense sticks effect. And to give you a more popular fragrance, which this one smells like, it's Latafa Rugba Wood Intense. And you know that fragrance. If you don't, it is a nuclear bomb when it comes to performance, same as this one. Sprayed it 2 times in a room, smelled for 3 days. It's actually a unisex fragrance, so it can be worn by both genders, but fortunately I also received Oud Nuit by Rave, and this one smells the same. One is gonna be for Ivana and one is gonna be for me. So I don't know exactly which one. Probably this one because she likes this bottle better, but I like this one better. So my last 2 fragrances are going to be Varvatos Platinum Edition, which is probably featured in most of my winter fragrances list just because it smells so damn good. Again, one of the Varvatos fragrances which has a niche quality and a very good performance on my skin at least. And unfortunately, again, like Craze by Armaf, this fragrance disappeared at some point, then it appeared again. Now it's a bit hard to find again. So if you wish to purchase this fragrance, I think you should rush into doing some research because this fragrance, I don't know how long it will be available. And the last one, guys, you know I love it. It's Zadig and Voltaire. This is him. A very dark, alluring, seductive fragrance with a great performance. A bit powdery in the opening, which for some people might be off-putting. But it settles down so smoothly and it's so nice. That was it, guys. I hope you enjoyed watching this video, even though it was not a top 10, but it was still a list of good fragrances, affordable, niche, designer, whatever you wish for. And until the next video, keep smelling great.